Hey everyone, this is Shar of YellowYum. Welcome back to another YellowMum video. Today is July 10, 2019, and that makes me 13 weeks and 3 days pregnant. So when I based on some of the apps that I use, the pregnancy apps that I use, they say that second trimester starts when you hit the 13-week mark. But then there's also another app saying that second trimester officially starts when you start your 14th week. So I'm not really sure if I am already in the second trimester, but so many things have happened since my last update. I was supposed to do an update video last week, which was my 12th week, because I had my checkup that week. Unfortunately, my energy was quite low. I decided today, because I am feeling a little bit better and I have a little bit of energy, I'm gonna do this update today. The past couple of weeks have been very rough. So many things have happened and it was a roller coaster of a ride since the last update. On my 10th week, I encountered bleeding. Before that, I already had spotting and it was obviously a cause of panic, but after like a few days, it just goes away. Sometimes it's just even for 2 days, and it wasn't much. It was just a few spots when I wipe or something. But on my 10th week exactly, it was actually Father's Day. It was June 16, I believe that's the date. I had bleeding. So this was totally different from what I have been experiencing, because this time it was red, it was fresh blood, and there was a lot. Like when I sit on the toilet, like it was going out. I got very scared that I alerted my doctor. We called my doctor right away. She asked if I was in pain. I wasn't in excruciating pain, so I really didn't know if I was in pain or not. And then I just decided I had to go to the hospital because I really was very nervous. So the entire time I was crying because I was so scared. I kept praying the entire ride from my house to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, I went to the delivery room as advised by my doctor, by my OB, and a few minutes after arriving, I think it was maybe 10-15 minutes, she came in. You know what, here's one thing about me. I hate being a hassle to people. I hate having to ask for help or having to ask people to do me favors. It's difficult for me. That time, I had to ask my parents to go meet me at the hospital because my husband had my daughter, and of course he still had to park and do the other logistic things in the hospital, and I needed to go to the delivery room right away. So I asked my parents, who lived quite near the hospital, well, nearer than us. So when I got there, they were already there, and they wheeled me going to the delivery room. And when my doctor came, that's just when it hit me that I was such a hassle to a lot of people. First, to my parents. It was like what I said, it was Father's Day, but they had to go to the hospital to help me out. And then to my doctor, who I was sure that also had her plans, her family plans. So that also made me tear up because I really hate having to do that to other people. So the first thing that they did was to do an IE. So it's an internal exam. My doctor checked on my cervix. She said that it was closed, which was a good thing because once you're pregnant, your cervix closed to help secure the baby. When it opens up, there's a threatened abortion or miscarriage. So mine was closed, and then she asked me to wait because she wanted to get an ultrasound. And so I waited. It took a little long. The room was closed because it was a Sunday, and I think there was no sonologist available that time. So they still had to contact the sonologist to come to see me. So when they finally were ready for me, I was wheeled downstairs. I was already lying on a bed. My doctor already instructed for me to just stay on the bed. First thing they checked was if there was heartbeat, and they found out that there was still heartbeat. The sonologist mentioned something about when you're on your 8th week to 13th week. That's usually the time that there's spotting or bleeding because that's the time the placenta takes over. It's something like that. To be honest, it was kind of a blur for me. The whole thing was a blur for me because I was just an emotional wreck that time. I was very, very scared, very nervous. I was also relieved to see that there's heartbeat and that the baby's okay. Long story short, my doctor advised me to be on bed rest for 2 weeks and also to take Dufaston, which is a pampakapit. So I was asked to take Dufaston 3 times a day for 2 weeks, and she asked to see me after that. For the next 2 weeks, I was literally on my bed. So I was pretty much in house arrest for my 11th to 12th week. And it was very difficult because Robyn's there. I think that's the most difficult thing when it's your second baby, because if it's your first, there's really no other responsibilities other than just taking care of yourself. But this time I had to take care of another human being. So that was kind of difficult because I had to rely on my husband to look after my daughter for that time. Robyn also had summer classes, so he was the one to bring Robyn to school and to her classes and bring her home, which was difficult because he also has work. But we didn't really have any choice. And during those 2 weeks, I was still having spotting. It wasn't bleeding anymore, so I was so thankful that it wasn't bleeding anymore, but I still had spotting. And then this time it wasn't red, it wasn't fresh blood, it was like brown, kind of like old blood, they said. And I messaged my doctor about it, asking when it's gonna stop, because of course every time I see it, it makes me worry. I think that's normal for you to worry because you know that it's not the usual thing, and I've never really experienced this when I had Robyn. So she said that as long as it's not red and it's not fresh blood, you're okay. So on my 12th week, we finally met for my next checkup. I told my doctor that I was still having this spotting, this discharge. Again, she said that it's fine as long as it's not red. And then we tried to hear the heartbeat via Doppler. Now, here's the thing. When she tried looking for the heartbeat, it took kind of a long time. And then when she did, it was so soft. The thing is, I still remember how it sounded like when it was Robyn's. It was really, really loud. This time, it was very soft. I don't know if it's just the position of the baby or something, but it was really soft. But it was there. Then she just told me if I wanted, she asked me if I wanted to get an ultrasound. So we did. I went in for another ultrasound and I saw that everything was okay. Like, even though I was still spotting and I had this discharge, the baby's still growing. From the last time that I went, which was 10 weeks, yeah, I was 10 weeks, up to the new ultrasound, which was 12th week, I saw that it grew and the baby was actually moving. So I was very, very relieved to see that, okay, the spotting was not affecting the baby whatsoever. They saw that I had subchorionic hemorrhage. That was new for me because I've had probably 3 or 4 ultrasounds now for this pregnancy, simply because of like the nature of my pregnancy, and they never really saw hemorrhage or anything, even when I went to get an ultrasound because I was spotting, and even when I was bleeding, they didn't see anything like that. So this was new, that they saw a subchorionic hemorrhage, and the sonologist said that it was kind of significant in size. So obviously that's another, like, I thought that I could already breathe better, but then, you know, I was diagnosed with this hemorrhage thing. It again made us worry. We waited for the results and went back to my my OB, showed her the results, and she just said, okay, corpus luteum is still present. That means that the placenta is still developing. That's probably why you have this subchorionic hemorrhage. And she said not to worry. So at that point, I felt a little relieved because she said that there's nothing to worry about. It's gonna go away. Even though she saw the size, she really wasn't worried about it. And I guess she saw that I was still scared. So she just said that the baby's okay. So the baby's okay and growing fine. So nothing to worry about. She actually didn't even ask me to take any medication anymore. She didn't ask me to stay on bed rest again. So that was that. The next appointment will be on my 16th week. And I plan to announce my pregnancy on my 16th week also, after the checkup, after my next checkup with her. So hopefully everything works out well. Still asking for your prayers. I know that you'll be watching this a little later, but I'm still pregnant by then, and all I can really ask for is for more prayers, because this has been, here's the thing, I thought that since I got pregnant already and I've given birth, that this is gonna be a walk in the park because I already know what to expect. But it was totally different. This pregnancy is totally different from my pregnancy with Robyn. And with Robyn, my only major problem was really morning sickness, and this is just a different game. So, and different emotions. So up until now, I am already 13 weeks. I still have the spotting. I still have the brown discharge. That's what has happened for the past 5 weeks. 5 weeks since my last update. And in terms of like other symptoms, still hungry all the time. I still go and pee a lot. Morning sickness wise, there are things that I don't like eating and I don't like the smell of. I prefer salty food than sweet. I like savory things. I crave for a few food, and then once I'm done eating it, I'm okay. I don't really enjoy chocolates that much, which is kind of surprising. I don't like the aftertaste that it has, that it leaves me. So far, I have gained 6 pounds based on my pre-pregnancy weight, or the first weigh-in when I went to see my OB. She said that it's okay. I was actually surprised that I gained 6 pounds, but I think it's really mainly because I was on bed rest. So everything that I do was just lie down, eat, lie down, eat. I think that's really why I gained so much weight for this first trimester. Since we are gonna be seeing each other after 4 weeks, she asked me to gain 4 pounds by 4 weeks. So that's 1 pound a week. I asked her what if I gain more. She said it's okay, don't worry too much about the weight. This is not the time to diet. By the way, I haven't exercised at all. I noticed that every night, that's when my tummy shows. Maybe because that's after eating and everything, but yeah, so now I'm gonna show you my belly. This is my belly for 13 weeks. As you can see, it's a little bit rounder now. Here. My husband says that it still doesn't really look like a pregnancy belly. It just looks like I ate a lot, and I agree. That is it for this month's pregnancy update. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to talk to you again next time. Bye!